thing. We are just showing some of them, not all of them. All of them are in the web. Next. Pato Triste repair, same thing. Here you can see the dump and the machines working, repairing all the roads. Next. Road maintenance from Hacienda del Sol to Ellipse Road. Same thing, cut it off in several places. We start working first in the main roads and then in secondary until we finish. Next. Road maintenance at Palos Verdes South, same thing. Putting earth and everything. Next. Vista del Mar red dirt, 4,700 meters of red dirt. This was accomplished in September. Next. Road signs for installation. The water turned down many of the right signs. We restore them, we put new ones in several places. Next. Many of our gardeners were broken. We restored them. As a matter of fact, we didn't make them right now of dust, paja. And we do them right now with blocks, so they will sustain a lot more time. Next. Hacienda del Sol. Same thing, you can see here that we were putting the cementation and they are plastering it over here until it was finished. Next, please. Hacienda del Sol, we are painting it to restore it like it was. Next. Saltito Gate reinforced. We have had many hits in the gate, so we are trying to avoid this as much as possible. Sometimes we think that we are faster than the gate. Next. Cachanilla and Tres, same thing. We are redoing all of them, so we don't have to come back very often to repair them, so they will last a long time. Next. Customer service repair room remodeling. We find out that this room was having mold inside the walls and all that, so we take it out completely. And we redo it, clean it out, and finish it again. Right now it's like brand new. Next. Dog park, rail divider. So in the beginning it was a whole area, but big dogs start attacking small dogs, so we separate them. So right now it's peace. Next, please. Security training room repair. Rosa damage. We have to repair the roof. Right now it's next. Garbage container doors, we tear them down when they were damaged. Sometimes the dump from the trash company, they damage them, they pay for the repair, but we do the work. Next, please. Security mobile tower wrap protection. We are putting plexiglass in the side, so with the winds they don't suffer so much cold. Like nights here sometimes are very tough. Next, please. Parking stop and metal forms manufactured. Right now we are doing them, we are not buying them, so we are saving a lot of money on that. And many things that we do, for example, in the past in the gardeners, we hire people to come and paint them. Right now all the work is done by our own people, so we are saving good money. Next, please. Tennis court benches repair. You can see how they were. They look again like this. Next year we will have to do some more maintenance too. Next. Library electric repair. We put new lamps and right now there's good light in the library. Next. Activist office. This is where the way it was. Right now everything is brand new. Even the vampires were afraid. Yeah. Folding metal tools manufactured. In the infrared system, we discovered that there were a lot of problems with the seagulls and birds because they make their needs in the panels, electric panels, so we have a lot of problems with maintenance. So these guys over here, they devise this machine and they make it to blend the sheets of metal to make a cover, a protection. So right now we are doing all of them and we will have a lot less maintenance work. Next, please. They were the problems. Next. We install another a new punto uno antenna. So we have a better communication. We reach all around the ranch right now perfectly well. And so with the walkie-talkies, we are in connection everywhere we are. Next, please. We did 10 gardeners in total, small and big ones. Next. New water pump and pressure tank for irrigation at Tennis Center. Next. 4 security gates painted totally and covered with the air conditioners. Next. Inside and outside. Tennis court protection fence. Next. Tennis court repairs, number 1. Next. Tennis court number 2 repaired. Cold deck and pergola base. We did all of this around the pool. I think so. We are 98% now done with the pool deck. Next. Pool covers for main activities and spa in the pools. Next. Cachanilla lap pool lights. Next. Woman shower handicap bars and bar soaps holders too. These weren't here, so it was from a resident who called our attention. Why don't you put some bracelet? That's a good idea. We did. Next. Cedar on showers and gardeners. These prevent them from losing and getting lost, so they work very well. Next. Main pool hydropneumatic tank installation. Next. Pool chemical training. This is to make our people knows how to handle the chemicals and save. Next. New corner grids at volleyball. These are hard to get, let me tell you, but finally we got all of them. Next. New chairs and tables at Cachanilla pool area. We have plenty right now, and we have, next please, and we have the loungers, and we bought the loungers that got rebuilt or broken, whatever. We keep them, so we bought just the covers for 40 of them, and we put them back. So now we have plenty again. Next. 10 new umbrella bases at Cachanilla pool, so right now the umbrellas doesn't move as much as in the past, so that prevents the tables to be broken. Next. And we repaired that when broken, right now they look like these again. Next. These are the stop holders I told you. Next. New pool lights in activities pool 2. Next. Right here, 2 new blades installed. In here in maintenance of the machines, we have many photos, so we just put a little bit of them. Next. They are changed the springs in the water truck, in the Kenworth one. Next. Tires, we bought tires for several of the machines and the trucks too. Next. New grader, we bought this one in January, so we have a very brand new grader. Not new, but for us, is new. Next. 4,250 steps manufactured, so they were damaged. We have new ones painted and installed by our own people. Next. Water Truck International tank repair. Next. New Toyota Tacoma for security 2009. This is a different color because this is for the chief of security. So when you see this going around, you know it's the chief of security. Okay, next one please. Security 2 anemometers. So this is so in each supervisor's car, they can provide CPR, they can provide electroshocks. So we are prepared for emergencies. Immediately we have the procedures to call Cruz Roja and take residents to the Baja Medical Clinic. And if necessary, the Red Cross will take the resident to the crossing line and border with a charge from Cruz Roja for $100 per trip. Next. Security, infrared system, new batteries. Now we do all the maintenance, so we are not paying another company from outside anymore. Next. Security, night firefighting training. We are very close to do another one. We already talked with the captain of fire department in San Felipe. He is coming next week to be the witness of our training, so he will give us recognition. Next. Security fire rescue training. You can see the people working and with living dummies, not dead dummies. So they are training in real. Next, please. Emergency security training. You can see here they are checking pressure. They are doing what they have to do in an emergency case. You can see that there are 4 different guys, but many of our people has been trained, and we keep training them. Next. CPR training. We have dummies. We have 4 of them, and our people do it. We bring people from Mexicali to provide the training. Next, please. Activities, new air conditioner in the activities room, and equipment that we need for the activities. Next. This year, our activities team, all of our guys, got a certification from the tourism office at federal level, so they can work like guys in tourism. When you go to the wine country, when you go to any place right now, these guys have the certification that they know what they are doing. Next. La Palapa Family Volleyball. This is in La Palapa, but it's part of the activity, so to show you what we are doing over there. And here is the Cachini. No, this is La Palapa too, sorry. But you can see that in both sides the people is enjoying and having a nice time. Next. This is in Cachanilla again, volleyball lessons. Remember that we do the aerobics in water too. Next. Activity, San Felipe Box champion La Pulga Soto at the Pavilion. This guy just won last week another fight here in San Felipe, another championship. Next. Water and juice delivery by the activities and the residents of El Dorado Ranch. This has people very happy in town because they see the American community helping out the Mexican community. Next, please. This is the end of the presentation. So if you can see the whole thing, you can go please to the website. There is the rest of it. Thank you too. I'm going to make the 3rd call. So Serena, can you give me the last one? Okay, at this count we have same number of owners, 148, proxies 30, developer 2,900. So we have a 47.99%. On the 3rd call we have reached a quorum of owners represented and proxies for a total of the ownership represented. This General Assembly meeting is now called to order. Okay, at this time we have to select 2 clerks. I would like to request 2 volunteers. If you can volunteer, raising your hand, please do it. We need the volunteers to count the votes of the different things that we have to vote. So this is to make it democratic as it has to be. Yes, they will have to sign all the paperwork to make the. We have one over there. Please, your name, sir?
Hector Leanos.
Mr. Hector Leanos. And your name, please? Gardenia Kimi. So, okay. So now we have our 2 clerks. Thank you very much for participating and for your help. Okay, now that we have selected the clerks and we have received this voluntary cooperation, which we really appreciate, we will proceed to the next item in the agenda, that is to approve the November 2018 Ordinary Assembly meeting minutes as recorded in Mexicali and posted on the HOA website. Okay, second?
I second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. Those not in favor? Okay, they are approved. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, now I would like to introduce your current supervisors committee. I would ask the supervisors to stand up, please, when I mention you. Mr. Steve Kimi, President. I think so. Here is Mr. Ed Jones. And Mr. Dick Peterson. I want to really thank them for their enthusiastic participation and support to the committee. And I can tell you that they have been working diligently and very hard all this time. The next point in the agenda will be the appointment of the president of the supervisory committee that we will have this year by the developer.
Developer appoints Steve Kimi as president of the supervisory committee. Also noted, the developer will not be going on the supervisory.
Thank you, Doreen. Okay, so Mr. Steve Kimi is appointed. Would you take the appointment?
Yes, I accept.
Thank you very much. Nomination and election of the two supervisory committee members in accordance with Article 66 for a 2-year term.
Item 6, you skipped 6.
Oh, I skipped 6. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're totally right. Mr. Steve Kimi will now present the supervisory committee report. I'm sorry for that omission.
All right, get out of it.
It's your chance to talk.
Thanks, George. I told her, the beginning, that's not the beginning. Okay, great. Thank you. So those who have seen me present before know I always like to have a theme for the presentation. So the theme for this year is the good, the bad. It's not quite ugly, but we do have some challenges that we want to talk to you about. So is there somebody that can work the slides? Gardenia, can you work the slides?
Okay.
You got a button there. Never mind. Okay, the next slide, please. Good, thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is a little bit on the HOA financials, where we are. So this is a little bit about the bad. Talk about the budget. Now, I'm not going to review the budget. That's Roberto's job. What I am going to do, though, is the supervisors have a lot of input to the budget. And what I want to do is to review the supervisory input to the 2020 budget. Talk a little bit about our BMC contract. Talk about what we did in 2019, our goals for 2020, and then looking beyond what our goals are moving forward, what things hopefully that we can look forward to that will make El Dorado Ranch and San Felipe a better place to live. Okay, so I went back to 2015 as a baseline. 2015 was the first year where I actually worked on the budget. I became a supervisor in 2014, but you always inherit the budget that was processed or prepared the year before. So in 2015, if you look at the dues plus collections, it was about just under $4.5 million. If you look at 2020, the budget that you're going to be voting on today, it's down to 3.7. That's a drop of $600,000 in income. Okay, and why? And that's even though over this period of time, we've increased the dues 37%. Dues have gone up, income's gone down. Why? We've lost 1,800 plus dues paying owners. So you don't have people paying, we don't get the income, and that's affecting our ability to do business. Let me state, HOA is solvent. You saw all the good things that Roberto's done. I mean, they're doing things, you know, for pennies on a dollar because they're bringing things in-house, but we still have challenges. So one of the challenges, and we'll talk about this later, is so far at our meeting, we had 10 days ago reviewing all the financials, and the supervisors meet every month with the team and the developer to look at this stuff. We're still $300,000 short on income for this year, right? If you look at the capital equipment, we're supposed to get another grader. It's $140,000. We're not buying it. We don't know if we have money, right? So we have challenges, guys, all right? And our cost of living is going up about 20% over that same time period, right? So cost of living is going up. Our cost of doing business is going up. Our income has gone down, right? We've got to get some tough love, and we're going to introduce some things in 2020 that are a little different, that hopefully will change some of the things around. Okay, so budget input, salaries, raises. We looked, El Dorado Ranch is not the highest paying entity in San Felipe. We have a very strict hiring process, right? We do people background checks. They have ties in with the National Police on making sure that the people that we hire, especially our security people, have not been to jail. They're not druggies, right? We want to make sure we get the right people in here. So when we looked at increases and raises, we looked at two things. How critical is a particular department to HOA operations? That's one thing. And how critical is a particular department to the satisfaction of all you owners that are paying dues, which is important to you guys. Okay? We looked at how easy it is to replace someone if they leave because they can make more money someplace else. Secondarily, we looked at current salaries versus departmental averages, and again, I'm just throwing out numbers as an example. These are not true numbers. If the average salary in a particular department is 100 pesos a day, 199, 95, 100, and we got somebody that's making 112, well, that's probably okay. If they're making 120, they're out of range, right? So they're not going to get the same bump that somebody that's only making 100. We want to try to balance out a little bit so people who are doing the same job get the same money, male, female, it doesn't matter. We want to pay equal pay for equal work. So we can't drop people. We're going to try to balance this out through raises or denial of raises. And then the other thing, we do have some issues with performance a little bit. So if you haven't performed, well, we're not going to give you a raise. Okay? So, when we look at owner satisfaction, the biggest thing is activities, right? They run everything that we do here, all the fun that you have. They run the volleyball games, they run the golf stuff, they run the poker, all of the things that they run. Somebody yelled out, "Give them a raise." Yeah, we are 8%. They're getting an 8% raise. Now again, there may be some adjustments, individuals, I'm not going to go into who they are or why, but for the reasons, the last two bullets. The other one is security. The biggest thing that we've had problems with over the years that has been fixed by Ricardo Perez and his staff and the security staff is security. We're like 15 people down in security. To hire a person in security, we have to have 2 people working to train. One, the new guy, and then the person that's training the new guy. That costs money. So we're giving salary increases to the security people because it's critical, to our security, to the overall main. The remaining departments get a 4% raise, okay? And again, with some exceptions. But that was the supervisory input. Management accepted that input, and that's what we're doing for 2020 for salaries. Excellent. Okay, so dues. When we do the budgets are prepared by HOA management, by Ricardo Perez actually runs operations. So he checks with all his people for road maintenance and security and all that stuff. Just by the way, he's an accountant. So And then we, of course, we have Lalo, who's our financial director. So they present a budget. And when they present a budget, we look at the projected increase in cost of living for San Felipe by the end of the year 2019. Now this isn't in August, they do this. The supervisors review it the first and second week of September. At that time, the increase in cost of living was 4.8%. So just to keep current with the cost of doing business, we put a 5% increase in dues. Right? That just keeps us even, assuming there's no drops in owners, which we know there will be, but we did that. However, we are doing an incremental 5%, and if you look at your budget, it says 10%. Well, it's not really 10%. It's 10% if you don't do things, and I'll explain that in a minute. So if we go to the next slide. So the 5% incremental raise, two things. First off, I mentioned, we're still $300,000 short on collections for 2019. We need to get people to pay up front and not to wait, so that we don't have the situation where at the end of the year we don't have money, or know if we have money to do something. So what we want to do is incent the people to pay early. The other thing is your dues are actually, you're due January 1. Legally, you're delinquent, but we don't do anything to April 1 to cause your delinquency. Okay? In July 1, if you haven't paid, it gets turned over to collections. Now, we got to pay the collections people, they get 8%. So I don't want to give 8% of dues we collect to the bill collectors. I want to give it to the HOA so we have that money to spend. So that's why we introduce this extra 5%. Next slide, please. So what we're going to do is we're going to model this, and this is an experiment. If it works, we'll do it in the future. If it doesn't work, well, then we'll rethink the things. But again, we got to do some tough love, think about some different ways of doing business. Is that we're modeling this on property tax payments. If you pay your property tax in January, you get a discount, 15%. If you do it in February, you get a smaller discount. March, you get a smaller. April, you get no discount. We're doing the same thing. If you pay your dues, and this is bulk payment, right? So this is not the ACH monthly payment. I'll talk about that in a minute. You write a check for the total amount. The average dues for 2020 is just under $100,000 a year. It's about $992 or something like that, right? Just under $100,000. So if you go to the office and you pay that money by the end of January, prior to February 1, if you pay that, you get a 5% discount. So you only get the 5% raise that we have to do for expense increase, right? We give that extra 5% back to you. You wait till February, where we're going to take a percent, you get 4%. You wait till March, we're going to take another percent, you get 3% back as a discount. If you wait until April, I'm sorry, all bets are off, you got to pay 10%. So hopefully people that are just kind of waiting to the end of the year, they'll pay early so that they don't have to pay that extra 5%. It's not our lights, $50, $1,000, but still $50 buys a nice dinner, a couple beers or tequilas down on the Malecone. Give it to us. Don't give it to, and the other thing is then it goes to the bill collectors. Don't give it to the bill collectors. So yes, there's a 10% increase. You pay early, it disappears. So again, the message is please, you'll get your bills, you'll have them by December or January. Pay the HOA fees, and you don't have that extra thing, right? Now, ACH, the monthly payments. You're not, let me restate that. You're delinquent if you're not paid. ACH pays over months. So, our records, when we review it, every month, everybody in ACH is delinquent after April 1. Okay, but we don't do anything about it because we know it's a monthly payment. Hang on a minute. So the people that pay monthly, we find that there is a significant drop-off in people paying their monthly dues. As much as 40%. They pay up front, they get their ID cards, they get their car stickers, and they stop paying us. That's not right. That's not right. So they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay 10%. Now, there are the other 40%, the other 60% that do pay. I'm sorry we couldn't figure out a way to compensate because we really don't know until December if you paid. So if you are paying ACH and you don't drop out, you're gonna get hit with the 10%. I'm sorry about that. If somebody knows a way that we can work around this cleanly, please tell us and we'll try to do something. Of course, the other option is you can always change from ACH to do bulk payment and the problem goes away. But that's some of the tough love we're gonna try this year to make sure we have the money to operate. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about BMC. The original 10-year contract expired December 31st, 2017. There's a team of supervisors. The 3 EDR supervisors at the time, it was Bob Miller was on the team with Ed and myself, and Hans from the Seaside, and then Roberto to represent HOA management. We negotiated the new contract. The developer was not involved at all. It was an HOA negotiation. I was the lead negotiator on this. We drove the negotiations, okay? We put the new contract in place, and one of the big things, and credit to Ed Jones, because he beat up on BMC. Also, your supervisors, your current supervisors are on the BMC advisory board. So if you got questions about BMC, ask any of us. We know what's happening there. He told them the original contract was a fixed price contract. So over those 10 years, if you look at the average amount that was paid by owner towards the BMC contract, it went up. Payments the same, number of payers are less, so each payer is paying more. We got rid of that. It's now we have a payment that's tied to dues paying owners. If the ownership goes down, BMC gets less money. So if you look at the budgets, you'll see BMC budget goes down because we've been losing owners, as I previously pointed out. So that's one of the big things in the contract. The cost per owner stays the same. Okay, the second thing is there's free services. And we had a discussion on this morning. X-rays, for example. It's just X-rays. If you break your leg, that's not free. You got to pay for that. But it used to be you can get 3. It's unlimited. You can use many of the free services that you always had. It's unlimited. It's not tied to your property. It's unlimited. It's also for anybody associated with that property. So if you have your child, their family, your grandchildren, if something happens, they can go to BMC. They can get service. They can get service at our copay, which is $10. The street price is $30. But you got to be current in your dues. So you need to take your ID card down when you go to BMC, and then you'll pay a $10 copay and now the $30 copay. And again, if you have a relative that's visiting, go down with them, they get the service for a $10 copay. If you have renters, they get the service for the $10. So we've expanded the amount of services that you get, not the different services, but the quantity of services, and we've expanded who's covered with that at a fixed cost per owner with the BMC contract. Okay. Now, just one other thing, the board, the advisory board's been pushing on this for a while, and that is for BMC to get other customers, and they're working on that. One of the board members is now with Pete's Camp. So for the first time, for the first 10 years, it was all El Dorado. Now it's Pete's Camp has somebody, and they're going to work on something, getting some other people. They put up a website. It was referenced in the last newsletter. It talks about a membership fee of $189 so that you get the $10 copay. Ignore that. Ignore anything on their website. We're covered with our contract. So again, ignore what the BMC website says about having to make payments, about joining a membership. You're already in. The contract does that for 10 years. Okay, next slide, please. We get an update, part of the contract was a quarterly update on what services, and we want to do this just to make sure that as we move forward, we're getting the kind of coverage that we need. So just briefly, again, 90% are HOA members, the other 10%, come from wherever, okay? The average age is 65, I think 164, 166, and it's about a 50-50 split between male and female. What's done the most services is follow-up nerve checks, BPR, the free x-rays, those kind of things. Then bronchitis, cold, which to me is surprising. I mean, we're living in the desert, I don't think that would be a big issue, but it is. Orthopedics or trauma, most of that turns out not people that are driving their quads crazy, although we get those. We're old people. We fall down the steps and we break things. So, they do not have an orthopedic surgeon, but if you have that, again, as Arturo said, you call security, they'll take you to BMC, they will stabilize you, they work with Cruz Roja, they will get you up to the border, it's $400. It used to be whatever they wanted to charge. Several years ago, again, the HOA management negotiated it's a $400 fee. If you don't have the money, the HOA will lend you the money, you have to pay them back, of course, but to get you up there. And things are changing in the future, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, next slide, please. So, if we look at 2019, you saw what Roberto did. We had budget constraints. So there was a lot of issues that, things that we wanted to do that we couldn't because we knew we didn't have the money. Really, where we worked was the Cashmere Pool Complex. The renters restriction from the seaside, that was an initiative that was sponsored by Baldoma in 2017. It was for election, 2018. It passed January 1, it got implemented. We thought there'd be some problems, but actually it was pretty smooth implementation. One of the byproducts of that, the rentals, haven't looked at 2019 yet because we're not over yet because there's still people coming down for the shrimp festival and everything else. It used to be 78% of the rentals came from the condos. We had 8% and the rest was La Ventana del Mar, the golf course lots. I've been told, and again we'll have numbers later that will report, the condo rentals have gone down, the mountainside rentals have gone up because people want to use their pool complex. So if you're renting your house on the mountainside, well, we've given you maybe a little bit more business. So hopefully that's something that will fall out as a good thing for you guys. Okay. Spa heating and plumbing. It turns out that there was some bad plumbing with the spa system. Some work has been done. Some more work needs to be done on that because one of our most expensive items other than security, is propane to heat that pool complex. And it's $100,000 a year and stuff. So again, people complain sometimes about the pool being not at temperature. I can tell you right now, management has it set on a nice day or a normal day. It'll be at temperature. Now Monday it was a little cold here, right? Well, the temperature probably dropped. Having to burn more propane, it's just not worth it for a day or two. I'm sorry, the pool's going to be a little bit cold. Again, we need money. We're tight. We got to make hard decisions on what to do. But after now, the pool will be back up to normal temperature because the winds have gone away. It's not 65 out there. It's going to be in the upper 70s today. It'll be nice. But there's things that we have to do because we don't have the money. We put the shade cabanas up, lounge chairs, tables that we request from owners that they were able to work into the budget. Hurricane Rosa, that was a 2018 event, but because we didn't have the resources, we went into 2019, we're still doing road grading and everything else. It was not budgeted for 2019. So again, that was some expenses that were unplanned that we had to do. So again, we didn't do a lot in 2019 just because of the budget. 2020, we have the same budget constraints. We are going to work on the Cashmere Pool Complex. The heating issues, there's still some more work to be done. and we're gonna build a kiddie pool there. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we want to add to the reserve funds as we can, so that when we do have another disaster like a Rosa coming through, even a couple of years ago with Odell or something, that didn't come through San Felipe, but dumped a ton of rain, did a lot of damage to the roads. So that extra 5% on the dues, when we ask the management team, when they calculate their spending, they calculate the spending on a 5% increase, not a 10% increase. That extra money, if we have any, will go into a reserve fund. So if people don't pay ahead of time and we get that extra 5, we're going to start building the reserve. If everybody pays early, well, you won't build the reserve, but it doesn't affect our operations because we're not planning on that money for our operations. Slide, please. Okay, so the kiddie pool, so this is just a concept, and I want to thank Dick Peterson. He's worked diligently on this, as he did with the heating complex, but he's big on the Cashier pool. Working on this is sort of like a builder's concept on what a kiddie pool will look like. These are the bathrooms. That's the end. Oh, that's okay. That's the end of the lap pool there. So that's where it's going to go. Okay, next slide, please. It's going to have some coverage. It's kind of hard to see in there, but there is some waterfalls that are coming down from the top to cool it. The pool is only going to be 1.5 feet deep, right? So for little kids, if you're under 4, you got to use the kiddie pool. You cannot use the big pool. It also has a sloped entrance, so at the edge, it goes from, it's just like a beach, from 0 down to 1.5 feet. There's some chairs and stuff where the moms or dads, if they do it, but typically the moms get stuck with it. Sorry, ladies. I'll be able to sit there in the shade, chat, watch their kids. One of the byproducts, people talk about fecal accidents in the pool. It turns out there's as many, if not more, fecal accidents from older people than there are from kids. But even without fecal accidents, still, they're in the pool, they maybe have something in their diapers, it doesn't come out, but the water sloshes through. We don't want that in the adult pool. It'll be in the kiddie pool. If there is an accident, the water volume is low enough. It can be drained, cleaned, and refilled within 24 hours. Sometimes if it happens in the morning, you can be back in the kiddie pool in the afternoon. So again, we're trying to get things better for the owners that want to use the pool and not have to deal with kids in there that are doing some things. Next slide. Okay. The other thing we're going to do in 2020 is we will implement absentee ballots. So right now, anybody today that's not here, so they can't hear me, but if you're not here and you wanted to vote, you had to submit a proxy. And if you didn't know a proxy, a process has been set up. Martha is coordinating it for this year to help you find a proxy. What will happen with the absentee ballots, and again, we've gone through the notario, he's looked at it, the civil codes. This is legal, we can do this. You will fill out an absentee ballot and you'll mail it in. Now, process on how you're going to do that and everything else still has to be worked out, but you don't need to get a proxy, you just mail it in and your vote will be counted. They'll be kept confidential so that people don't know how voting is going until the time that the ladies in customer service office will handle that, but you'll be able to do a proxy, you'll be able to do the absentee ballot. If you have no clue who to vote for, but you want to be counted, well, you can still do a proxy. You send it in, and your proxy will fill out the ballot for you. But if you know, you won't do a proxy. You just send an absentee ballot. You don't have to get the proxy. It's a much simpler process, and your vote will be counted directly. Next slide. Okay, HOA, we've talked about this for a while. It's been a long time coming, and it's still coming, but the goal with the redesign of the HOA really has 3 things in mind. Number 1 is we want to make it easier to navigate. Now, the way you navigate now through the web is text-based. If you go in there, people that do the web, you'll go in and you'll come up and it'll bring out a page with with an arrow next to something. You click on the arrow, a bunch of things drop down. You click on the arrow, a bunch of things drop down. Now you click, that's all text-based, right? You gotta read all this crap, sorry. You gotta read all this interesting stuff. We're gonna change that. We're gonna make pictures. So when you go into a page on the web, the high level, there'll be pictures, and I'll use that as an example. Let's talk about the staff. So when you go and look at the HOA management team, what you'll see is Roberto's shining face in a picture. You click on that, and it'll give you information on Roberto, his phone number, his email, the background on Roberto. You care about the customer service lady, Rena, as an example. You click on her shining face. Same thing will happen. So again, it'll be picture-oriented. We think it'll be a lot easier to navigate. The other thing is we're trying to get down to 2 clicks. So once you click on a tab, and I'm not counting that as a click, although it really is, but anyhow, once you click on a tab, you'll get this basically checkerboard of pictures. And you click on a picture, and it'll take you then to what you want. Now, if you're looking at something that has, let's say, monthly reports, well, then you have to do another click to get to the month that you want. But you don't have to do this 5 or 6 drill down to get to things like you have to do now. So we're going to move some things around. The first tab really is going to talk about living in Mexico. Different set of living here, talking about visas, talking about banking in Mexico. Ed did a really nice article. There was a newsletter that will be posted on what it's like to bank in Mexico. It's changed because of government laws and the cartels and drug laundering and all this money laundering and drugs. It's changed. So we're going to have information on that on the website for people to understand exactly how things work or don't work. Okay? We're going to have information on Dorado Ranch. So there's things now, welcome to EDR La Madonna and Las Villas. But we're going to have some more information on there. Anybody here that has content that you would like to put up, please send it to me or give it to one of the other supervisors and they'll get it to me. We're looking desperately for content to put up for people on, there's a big discussion yesterday at the developers meeting about Telenor and fiber optics. If people have information on things they think would be useful to the community, please send it to us. We'll take a look at it, make sure it fits in with the thing, and we'll go ahead and post it. We will give you credit if you want. If you want to be anonymous, we will put it there anonymously. But if you want your 15 minutes of fame, we'll get your name associated with it. But we need help getting this kind of content up there. So, also at Dorado Ranch, if you were at Pat's meeting yesterday, you heard about his 2 potential investor deals that are coming. Once there's a new investor in there, the structure of the ranch is going to change. What does it look like? It'll be right up there. You'll be able to see exactly how the new structure is, who's in charge, how it works. Again, we'll make that information up there. Activities, again, big thing, that's already up there. We're going to increase that. Not only the activities that are done by the activities department, but, we have a horse ranch here. People can go riding. A lot of people do. Steve, horse ranch, absolutely, man with the cowboy hat. We have a fishing club. We have a quilting society that meets here every Monday to do quilts. So there's a lot of activities that people can participate in that aren't driven directly by the activities department. We want to get that out there and let people know what's available. And then finally, the news and announcements, that's where the newsletter is going to go, and any other kind of breaking news. So those are the top 4 tabs. The next 4 will, and outlined in blue, all of this, with some exceptions of particular pages, but I'm going to say probably 98% plus will be in front of the firewall. You will not have to log in. Your Aunt Millie in Ohio can look and see. If somebody's interested in moving down here, they can look and see what's available with the ranch. So we're going to make that available to people because it's non-confidential information and things. Confidential, though, is the supervisor and reports. So the monthly reports, the financial reports, that's behind the firewall. You got to be an owner to see that, okay? The resident services, and again, the services action list, things like that. Pictures of the other folks will be there. So that's what the redesign is going to look like. The old resource center that's there now, that'll stay. But that's, the current information is going to be up front. It'll probably stay here for a year, 2 years at the most, but probably most of it a year. It'll move to the resource center. We did an analysis. I had some help from Hans, supervisor in La Montana, and from Martha, supervisor in Las Vegas. Early looked at 2017. We looked at all pages, month by month, that were referenced, how people were using the website, and it turns out this old stuff, people don't look at it. We got it up there, we're going to get it out of the way, unclutter the front, and make the navigation easier for you guys. So that's going to be coming in 2020. Next slide, please. Okay, moving forward, right, the Promise and Hope, BMC Hospital. If anybody was here for the town hall at the beginning of the summer, I think it was June, Dave Bonderon, who is the co-owner of BMC, announced they have funding and they are going to be building a hospital with emergency room at the BMC complex. So you go to the, it'll be between where the current building is and where the sign is for the Rockadon. Back there, it'll be a 2-story complex. It'll have an emergency room. He's trying to bring a CT scan down here in addition to the x-rays. There'll be offices for doctors. Like a hospital, it will be open to doctors to practice. So if you deal with Dr. Abasolo or some other doctor in town, they can use the BMC facilities. They can actually get an office there. There's some other people that have been talked to that have background in social studies or other types of medical help. They can get an office there so that you can see some things. Right now, they're in the process of getting permits. It's going to take them about 4 months before they can have permits to begin. So sometime in 2020, early, you'll start seeing stakes in the ground. You'll start seeing a sign. Hopefully, we don't think it'll be finished in 2020. I mean, building a hospital with the oxygen lines and vacuum lines, it's not like building a house, right? So it may take a while, but it's fully funded. But they're going to do that. The plan with the current building is to try to turn that into a CB or Walgreens, CVS or Walgreens-like drugstore, where you can buy Sunrise, as well as get drugs. There's hoops to jump through, medical issues, legally. We're getting stuff down here. That's the plan. It may or may not happen based on whether the government allows. If the government allows and they find somebody, it'll happen. It'll happen down here. So again, the medical facilities are going to get a lot better down here. They are also looking, once they get established, and trying then to actively go out to the community, to the ejidos, to the South Campos, try to build more business, which is why they have the website with how to sign up. The $189 gets you the membership. If there's enough business, they'll build a satellite office down south. If the airport comes in, they're interested in talking about building the hospital that's necessary for the airport because of the flights and stuff like that. So they're getting very aggressive. We'll see how that goes. But worst case, we're going to see a hospital start running up right here, or where is it? Right over there, next to the gas station. Intervati, that's the Spanish. People were passing yesterday. This is a duplicate of what he said, but I know there's people here that weren't there yesterday. But it also shows that since Pat appoints me, that I do talk to him, and we do stay in sync on certain things. There are two big things keeping the Spanish Reserve. Number one was CFE. Right? Pat said the resort needs something like 40 kVA, doesn't sound right, but they need 40X, and CFE will give them 6. Right? So we got an electricity problem. They're looking at building a solar farm. There's some issues with that. But anyhow, there's an electric problem. The other one is they've been drilling wells for months to find water. They cannot find fresh water. It's all brackish water. So they just paid $1 million, they have a permit to build a desalinization plant. So the water issue is off the table, it's fixed. Or, I mean, it's, processes in place to fix it, they still have to build it and things. They're working on the electrical thing, there's a big pressure, there was a big meeting 6 weeks ago with government officials. They're saying they're gonna bring in like 6,000 jobs. There's a huge complex, they're gonna spend over $1 billion. Hotel, condos, homes, marina. So there's pressure. So hopefully that pressure will be applied to CFE so that, they get the electricity that they need. So again, we expect to see some activity on that starting early 2020, which will help San Felipe in general. The biggest thing it's going to do, it's going to make an international airport because they need to expand the airport. They need to bring in big planes from Europe to meet their revenue goals. So for San Felipe, the new governor who takes place, I believe it's today they start, one of his platforms was for San Felipe to have their own self-rule, to be an independent from Mexicali. So again, this is a government action. Who knows how long government actions take? It's definitely not in weeks. But there's going to be a push to make us independent. We have to make sure that we can sustain ourselves on the tax base. They're talking about extending San Felipe possibly down to Puertecitos. You get south of San Felipe, that's controlled by Ensenada. Take it away from Ensenada, and maybe past Puertecitos, maybe even to Gonzaga Bay. There's not much down there, but for sure, it'll include the Spanish. Big tax base. We get that, we can definitely self-rule, bring in our, we'll have our whole infrastructure that, you won't be paying taxes to Mexicali, you'll be paying them here, we'll have our own police department, fire department, Department of Roads, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? So that's something that we're hoping that will happen in 2020. The governor's going to push for it. We'll see how it goes. And then finally, developer funding. I'm not going to go into this, Pat did yesterday. If you missed Pat's meeting, the note's going to be put on the website, sent out in an email next week. Plus, it was recorded. The video will be recorded. Will be posted. Just briefly, he's got interim funding for him to operate the ranch through the end of the year. He's got two, not one now. We used to have one. We have two competing companies that want to make investments into the ranch. So hopefully something will break with that. Again, this is an HOA meeting, not a developer meeting. Look at the website next week after we get stuff out next time. Okay, so I'm sure there's questions. I'm not going to take them now. I want to try to get through this meeting, but afterwards, if you do have questions at the Q&A period, be around to answer any questions that you have. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve. As you can see, I was keeping a little bit of information, jumping number 6. Sorry again. Okay, guys. The next point in the agenda is the nomination and election of 2 supervisory committee members in accordance with Article 66 for a 2-year period. Through the email, I received 4 candidacies. All of them, they are paying owners, were in good status, so they are paying their dues, which is a requirement to participate. It is the same thing as coming, registering, and voting or speaking. You have to be in good status. Even if you are a multiple owner lot of properties, you have to be paid in all votes. So I will ask the candidates to present themselves and give us a presentation of their backgrounds. Even then that their information has been presented to the residents beforehand on the website and by the newsletter. So the first one that I received was Mrs. Carla Martinez. Would you please come to the front and give us your information, please?
Hi, my name is Carla Martinez. I was born in Mexico. I lived 20 years in the United States. I'm a realtor. I am a notary. The last 10 years I worked as a CFO in a in a company in corporation in San Diego. My background with a development like this, when I finished college, there's a place called Lagunas de Miralta in Tampico, which is now a very famous neighbor like this. You know, it has a club, it has, instead of beaches, they have lagoons. So that was my start in as a communicator and public relations. Therefore, I moved to Acapulco, so I was involved in tourism. And now I'm here. I just moved here recently in March. I like the community. I think that I would be a good asset because I have both words. I'm bilingual, of course. My husband is Greek. What else? Well, I have the time and I have the energy to help this community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Our next candidate is Mr. Sami Aswar. Would you please come to the front, please?
Good morning. My name is Sami Aswar, and my wife Lucia and I have been living here full-time for over 2 years. Before I get into this, I hope most of you have had the chance to go to the HOA website and read my full bio and my previous accomplishments. So I won't bore you with that. What I want to talk about is from today going forward, what we can do going forward. I'm very familiar with the ranch. We've been associated with it for 12 years, even though we've only been living here 2 years. I used to come down quite a bit to the ranch. I'm very familiar with the ranch, the CCNRs, and all the other building guidelines and all the other issues that relate to it. We know that the ranch has had some problems in the past, and hopefully we are in the process of working those out. In fact, as I mentioned yesterday, is working on the financial package. My goal is to help provide the good growth and generate a better future for ADR in the coming years. And to accomplish that, I have a few points. One of them is I will work to ensure that all facilities are well staffed and maintained, offering the residents comfortable and pleasant living conditions. The second is I will also work to ensure that all services at the ranch operate well. Third, I plan to maintain personal contact with homeowners on a regular basis, maybe on a monthly basis, to listen to their needs and help meet those needs that they have. Fourth, if problems arise, I will do my best to attend to them and do my best to solve them in a timely manner. By keeping homeowners happy and satisfied over here, we probably would help lessen the number of residents who are leaving. We have a lot of people leaving the ranch. We need to improve the situation so that they don't leave unless they have a medical issue or something like that. And by doing that, I hope we can attract new people to help grow the ranch and make it prosperous. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them later on. And I look forward to working with you and ask for your support to vote for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Aswar. The next candidate is Mr. Dick Peterson. Please come to the front and present yourself, please. Okay.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, Roberto. I know everybody gets tired of sitting. A lot of people get warm. My wife probably thinks it's not warm enough. So I'll try to make my comments brief. My wife, Elizabeth, and I bought property in El Dorado Ranch 12 years ago. When we decided to retire, we found that we had one of the electric lots. So we bought a resale home in a ranch that sold 3. In May of 2013, my wife and I moved to El Dorado and became full-time residents. You may have seen my wife, Elizabeth, at Second Chance Resale, where she is actively involved in a store that directs thousands of dollars back to the community each year thanks to your donations and support. I too am involved in Second Chance. They call me One More Thing Dick, as I take care of maintenance and repairs and remodeling, and there always seems to be one more thing. I'm active in the community. Here on the ranch, I'm a part of SAFE, checking homes when you have registered and you're away from the ranch. I'm also on, as Steve mentioned, on the Baja Medical Staff Advisory Board. It's a position that I applied for and secured to better understand the issues that may arise with us residents. I'm active in the San Felipe Fishing Club, as Steve mentioned, that meets the second Tuesday of every month in the activities room, and you're all invited, male, female, we go fishing. I also have volunteered for the Developers Annually Charity Golf Classic. And, and I can't forget the dog park. I'm part of the monthly poopy. In town this past year, I've been involved in a work Carnival, the Wine and Salsa Fest, and work safety for several of the races that come through San Felipe. And I've also donated and worked with several of Martin Romo's projects, which most of you are probably aware of. Just the other day, I was part of a detail, and we planted 150 trees in the Ejido, trees that were donated by Nora, one of the race groups. I'm also active in Casa Digna. The project is building houses for single women and vulnerable families. Clearly, I love San Felipe, and I love San Felipe and El Dorado being my home. 2 years ago, when I first decided to run for supervisor, several people had told me that, you'll just be a puppet. And what you say doesn't matter. And the one that I really didn't like is that you don't have to know anything to be a supervisor. Well, I found that not to be true. We as supervisors are an oversight group, which many of you know. And our ideas that we suggest and recommend are often taken into consideration and often implemented. This take the new absentee ballot that Steve mentioned, it's been something that I've been pushing for 2 years. Why can't we have a simple way to vote? So the supervisors came up with the form. I went to the local notario, got his legal opinion, and now you'll have an easier way to vote. What makes it legal is that we're still putting the proxy there. That's what's in the rules and regulations. But it does not prohibit us from putting in an absentee ballot. So you got 2 different ways to go, which makes it legal, as Steve mentioned. There are over 40 reports that we look at as supervisors every month. And it's not just the monthly supervisors meeting that we go to. I meet with Ed Jones, my fellow supervisor, on a weekly basis, at least once a week. Oftentimes we develop a punch list that we take to Roberto and his management team as necessary. And then Ed and I do follow up on the punch list to make sure those things get completed. I also ride throughout the ranch, not only as safe, but ride throughout the ranch every week to see about some road issues and other issues that people have. When an owner sends in a request for action or asks a supervisor, I just don't rely on the email back and forth. I like to be a hands-on person with you. On several occasions, I've gone to the owners' homes, discussed the issues, and tried to come up with a viable solution with them, and then go back to management with the solution and the answers to the problem and get it solved. There are residents who have asked, where does our money go? You'll see, as Roberto showed it on the screen, where a lot of the money is being spent. In talking to a lot of residents, they're unaware of the financials being posted on the website. I have met with them in their home. I've had them in my home, showing the website, showing them the financials and where the money has gone. Not only just in El Dorado, but also I met recently with somebody in a condo, and it's been here for years. Oh, really? I never knew that. So you can see by activities, by administration, and everything right on the website every month where your money is being spent. And that's what we go through at our supervisors meeting every month. Currently, I am working with a contractor to come up with viable solutions for the poorly designed spot. And also working with the kiddie pool as the concept drawing that you saw there with Steve showed you. To summarize, I think we have a good management team in place as supervisors. We understand what you want, and we have your ideas and thoughts in the forefront of your mind. I love it here, and I love being a supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next candidate is Mr. Ed Jones. Please, Ed, come to the front and make your presentation, please.
I need to use the thing to hold on here. I don't have feeling in my feet because I have diabetes, so please bear with me. Also, my voice is trying to quit. A hell of a time for a politician to lose his voice, isn't it? Okay, well, you know, it seemed like this last month I was here asking for your vote. That was 2 years ago. For those that don't know me, my name is Eddie Jones. My wife of 42 years, Maria, and I have lived here full-time for 16 years. We have permanent resident status. She's Latina. I speak a little Spanish. You know, I know 3 words. Sí, no, and cerveza. That'd be the word. But when I leave my home, seriously, I don't speak English. When I get out among the people here on the ranch and downtown, I do my best to speak Spanish. Now, maybe it's not correct, and they smile, but they help me. Point of it is, I've been here full-time. We have nothing in the States, and we're going to die here. Now, I've had the privilege of representing all of you and the people that can't be here since day one of the HOA forum, January 2005. I hope sincerely that you will vote for me again to continue to represent you. However, I want you to understand, I'm not only campaigning for you to vote for me, I want you to vote for Dick Peterson and me, because Steve has just accepted 2 more years as president, and Dick and I have to be re-elected for 2 more years, but we've had a hell of a successful time. Please keep in mind, now this is very important, and please listen very carefully. Supervisors are an oversight committee only. We have no authority whatsoever. We can't sign a check. We can't direct the workforce. The only thing we can do is go to HOA management, which I think is excellent, bring our suggestions to them, and as Dick pointed out, they're followed a considerable amount of time. Now, Steve pointed out some facts in his presentation about loss of revenue and so forth and so on. By the way, it's important for you to know that supervisors have no authority, can't sign checks. Pat Butler can't sign a check on your HOA bank accounts. And Pat Butler has not voted since 2005 on any HOA thing that needed to be voted on. And I bring that up because Facebook is putting out some very, very incorrect information about that. So I want you to know it, that is it. Now, here are some of the accomplishments that your supervisors have been involved with. Because we're a team. There's 3 supervisors, we have the HOA management team. Now, I'm not going to go into it in detail because Steve already did, but your supervisors alone negotiated the new BMC contract. Mr. Butler was not in it. He told them, you will deal with the supervisors, and they did. And we were very difficult to deal with, but we got our way. One of the important things is, in the old contract, they had an annual increase of 4.5% regardless. That's gone. The other thing of it is, even though we were losing income, their payment stayed the same. That's gone. It's based purely on the number of people paying their dues. If we lose dues payers, their fee goes down. If we're lucky enough to get some financing and we get more dues payers, hey, I'll take the dues and we'll increase the money the BMC gives. Now, something else is very important for you to know. Steve Kennedy, Dick Peterson, and I serve on the BMC Advisory Board. We know how our money is being spent. We get quarterly reports. Steve went through some of it. And anytime we have a complaint from an owner or anybody, we face-to-face talk to the owners of BMC and we get that settled. And sometimes we don't like the answer, but you know what? The owners don't like the answers either, and they work very hard to get that correct. Now, we installed a new bilingual proxy coordination program. What we want to do is represent everybody, not only you that can come to the meetings. We want to represent those people that own property, pay their dues, but can't come here. So we set up last year a very good program to coordinate proxies, and we guaranteed their vote. A lot of people said, I don't want to give a proxy because it may not be voted the way I want it voted. We installed a program that guarantees that the proxy holder votes the way the proxy instructions do. Your supervisors were deeply involved in having the seaside renters use seaside facilities. We got our pool back. You paid your dues. A lot of people quit using the pool because the renters from Seaside were just taking over the pool. They weren't following the rules. And I don't want to say more about that. Bottom line is, your supervisors are the ones that basically got this done with the help of a very courageous woman, Val Domer, who put in the owner's initiative that you people voted on. We have re-established a great relationship with the developer and his staff, and the HOA management and their staff. It was damaged in the past pretty badly. We re-established that. Now, as for me personally, I've either chaired or served on just about every committee ever formed of the HOA. For example, I chaired the first financial committee that split the expenses between Seaside HOA and Mountainside HOA. I chaired that committee. When the developer granted land to put our swimming pool and our community center on, I chaired the Dorado committee to make sure that you were represented and your money was spent correctly. Now, the other thing it is, in the past, there's been a lot of naysayers challenging the legality of the documents of the developer and so forth. So I served on the legal committee that made damn sure that we answered those people. We knew they were legal, but we had to prove it to them, and we did. Everything filed in Mexicali is legal, proper, and has been challenged to the point where there's no reason to challenge it anymore because 2 law firms have said absolutely they're legal. Now, your supervisors are more involved in developing the budget than you realize. We get a budget from Senor Islas and Perez, and then we supervisors get together and we tear that something apart. Let me tell you something. And we look at every penny, and we've come back in and said, let's change this, let's change that. Let's don't give raises here, they don't deserve it. Let's give raises here, we want to stop the turnover. Bottom line is, once a month, we look at 42 reports, including every line item on a profit and loss statement. And you know what? If they go above budget 10 cents, we ask the question, why? And we get an answer. We have exceptional working knowledge of all of the controlling documents, the rules and regulations, the CCNRs, and the incorporation paper. we have a good, I can almost quote you a paragraph, you know. For example, paragraph 81 says if you get a TRC fine or a violation, you've got to wait up to contest it. You have 10 days. So we know those papers back and forth. We have to, because everything we do is controlled. Now, we are controlled by the Civil Association laws. Those laws simply state that if you have a contract that we all signed when we bought property, that supersedes the law unless it specifically breaks the law. So the 3 controlling documents online, we live by them and we know them by heart. Now, we've been working very close with Steve Kimmy to make this website more user-friendly. We have constant meetings on that. We have suggestions that come to Dick and I locally. Steve is usually up in the States working on some other things. But we want to make it so you want to find the budget, click. You're on the budget. We're working on that. Now, we approached Pat Butler to build a new pickleball court and separate tennis and pickleball. At the time, he wasn't much in favor of it because it was a tennis court, it was a tennis community. The supervisors met with him and convinced him, and he let us build a world-class pickleball court over on the seaside. We now have a pickleball international court, and we have 5 beautiful tennis courts. Now, our goals are to continue to be deeply involved, run the HOA, improve the website, and we will work closely with any new investors that come in. So please vote for Dick and me.
Thank you very much, Ed. Okay, now that we have here the presentation of each one of our candidates, we will proceed to the voting. We will make it by ballot, so please fill them out, and our guys from activities will go around picking them up, and once they collect all of them, they will be given them to Mrs. Gardenia Kimi and to Mr. Hector Leanos for the counting. And when we have the final counting, we will announce once the 2 supervisors that were elected. Thank you very much. I received the counting. I have it here in the zip envelope already. I will read the name with the number of votes they get. Mrs. Carla Martinez, she got 34 votes. Sammy Asford, 55. Ed Jones, 98. And Richard Peterson, 116. So the supervisors for the next term is Ed Jones and Richard Peterson. Congratulations. And thank you for your participation, Mrs. Martinez and Mr. Asford. Thank you. Okay, the next point in the agenda is the presentation of the expenses of 2019 and ratify the 2020 budget. I will show it to you. We'll make it as fast as possible.
All in favor of the budget, say yay.
year number for 2019. So let me explain to you. We got the exchange rate of 1850 pesos against $1. This is the income we are expecting from annual dose owners. We were expecting 3,456,917, plus the annual dose lease lots, estimated collections of TRC, resort fees. In total, $3,900,012,751. For the budget of 2020, we're a little bit shorter with $3,465,000 in dues, 143 in the lease lots, 178,500 in collections, PRC 30,000, and resort fees 27. So it's expected income of $3,843,500. This is a 2% less. As Steve explained in his report, we are trying very hard to cut expenses and to keep getting our owners to pay the dues so we can move forward. Hazme un poco para abajo, por favor. The expenses that we are presenting in 2019 is $757,620. You receive all this information in your paperwork that was sent by Concord. Maybe you read it and study it so you understand it better. Salaries administration, which is biggest expense, $574,060. In 2020, we are increasing it a little bit to 1%, $178,012. In maintenance, $16,000, $14,000. Collections department, $34,473. We are expecting to collect the same amount of money. Supplies, $14,000 to $12,000. That's 14%. Utilities, $56,350, $58,350. Why utilities? Because they are like taxes, they are always going up. In maintenance, we have a reduction of 8%. Even with the cutting off that we are doing, trying to do the most things we can, we have to sacrifice a little bit here. From $781,089 in 2019 to $718,902 in 2020. Next, please. Activities. In activities, the administration is $76,698. In 2020, $79,218. It's a 4%. Maintenance, we keep it the same. Supplies, we keep it the same. So we have $102,260 against $102,798. 1% off. Security, please. In security, administration $49,054. Same in 2020, $49,259. We implement a little more cost in security because it's one of our main concerns. From $585,573 to $616,878. Total $660,075 against in 220, $679, $645. Indirect costs, this is contracts and IVA. So $1,501,692. It becomes $1,397,985. It's a -7%. This is reflected mainly because of the new agreement with the BMC that helps us to decrease this number in contracts. So in total operation expenses, it's $3,900, $12,751, $3,843,500. This budget represents a 10% increase in dues. The details of this document can be found at El Dorado Ranch, HOA.com.mx. As it was explained by Mr. Kimi, this 10% increase in dues can be only 5% if you make your payment in one exhibition in the first month of January. So this will help us a lot to keep our expenses more on hand, so we don't have to wait until the end of the year to know if we will have or not the money to make the necessary expenses. So this is the first page that we sent to everybody of you. If you want to go into detail, you can go into the website or you can come to our offices. We will go with you and help you out, or you can go with your supervisors, so they will help you out too. Like Dick Pearson said, he has been getting together in owners' homes or in his home, or even at the pavilion if you want to do it here. We are there to help you. So this is in general the main page of the budget. The rest of the pages are in detail for each department. It includes every line item in the budget. So I will come to the front. I think so. We have to spend a lot of time already here, but it was necessary. And right now, I think so. We will go to the voting. Is there any question? Yes, Martha.
Question would be for those people who are doing ACH this year, but next year do not want to do ACH because they'd like to take advantage of the 5% discount. Will there be some kind of a publication of a process how they go about canceling their ACH officially so that it doesn't continue and disqualify them for the discount?
Yes, they can contact Concord and they can make the stop payment done with them, or they can get with Serena in customer service and they can deal with that. They will be helped. Here we are to help everybody, anytime, anything. Yes?
So Martha, good idea. I'll work with Zarina and Roberto. We'll get a newsletter article out this year, starting to let people know how they do the process and things, because they should be able to do it January if they want to do it for 2020. So we'll get it out of the newsletter. Good idea. Thanks.
I think, because I do ACH, I think that they probably need that information in December, because when we get our January statement, it says that we're delinquent by 1 month.
Newsletter goes out next week.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Right there in the back. Here's coming down. Yes, sir.
On the ACH, my situation where I have 2 small solar lots, a very small pizza oven casita. We combined our lots. We can never separate those lots and sell them as individual lots. We built a little casita on the property line between the 2. Over the years, the HCA, yes, has made it very simple. We don't even think about it. As we, our part-timers here, tight budget, we're retired, I'm on Social Security. These HOA fees, we never look at them. This is our little sanctuary, and we don't look at that cost. This is a change for us. Yeah, if I pay the extra 5% on top of the new 5%, probably talking about $60 for the year total. But it's still in my mind, because we are literally here on this trip reevaluating our residency here. As I'm getting older and I have some issues with walking and back issues, doing maintenance on my place becomes a consideration. My kids don't seem as interested to come down here. So we're literally looking at what's the value. We're thinking of going away. But the one thing that always made it easy was that payment we never saw. It wasn't, we just ignored it, and it was comfortable. I'm not part of the problem. In over 10 years, 12 years, I guess, you've been hitting my bank account for 2 HOA fees for only 1 really piece of land I'm living on, which is a problem in my mind, paying 2 HOAs. This is something that's going to come into consideration when we leave this beautiful community in a couple of weeks and go back home. My thoughts are to remove my solar installations and all my investment from the shell, take it to Northern California where I need it more with PG&E being the way it is these days. So, you know, it's a small thing maybe, but I would ask you, you asked for solutions if we aren't happy. If someone is current and has never been delinquent in 10 years or plus, grandfather them in. Let us still save that other 5% and grandfather us in. The day one we become delinquent, 1 month, kick us out, make us pay the extra 5%. But I say leave it as is for me or anyone in my situation that has been paying on this for over 10 years and has never been delinquent one time.
Okay, thank you.
Are we voting?
Do we have a motion to make the voting for the second? All in favor for the budget? Aye. Those not in favor? Okay, it's approved. Only one person against it. Thank you. Okay, with this concludes the business for the ordinary assembly. Is there any questions that we would like to make? Yes.
Yeah, I would like to see the supervisors have a meeting and address this person's concern rather than just say thank you.
No, thank you. I agree.
Yeah, we will. I think so, yeah, we will. As a matter of fact, I didn't say, but we always answer the concerns of our members. We will meet. Yeah.
My name is Helen Bergman. My lot is Taylor's Fernie North, Block 3, Lot 3. And I have a couple questions about the earlier presentation. The first one is, if San Felipe goes to self-rule, what does that do to the necessity of a tourist visa?
If San Felipe goes to what?
Self-rule. Self-rule.
It's independent. Yeah.
Yep.
A municipality, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm crossing the border and I need to buy a tourist visa. Right now, I have 3 days that I can be in Mexicali because San Felipe is part of Mexicali. I don't need a tourist visa. If San Felipe goes to self-rule, independent, what does that do to my immigration status?
It does nothing. Immigration status is national. It's not Baja California or Mexicali. It's national. Mexico City. It's across the entire country. So you still need a tourist visa. You're moving into the country.
No, you don't.
You do. No, you do. Legally, so let me say something. Legally, when you come into Mexico, you need a tourist visa. Baja California, especially Mexicali and Tijuana, ignore the government regulations and they let you in, they don't even check. Legally, they are supposed to check everybody that crosses the border, make sure they have a passport, check their visa status, but they don't here. So legally, nothing changes.
But in practicality.
Well, in practicality, it's going to be the same as it is right now.
Okay, that's what you think. Okay.
Well, because again, the border people are not Mexicali people. The border people are government people.
Here's the thing. I try and buy a tourist visa coming across at San Luis. Now, I recognize that that is not Baja California where I'm crossing into. They say, where are you going? I say, San Felipe. You don't need anything. And these are the people that are supposed to be collecting my money.
So again, they let people in. I know people that...
They won't take my money when I'm trying to give it to them.
I know, yeah. I know people that have come across, okay? They get stopped by customs, not by customs, by immigration, right? So the people with the red light, green light is customs. And they go through that, and then they'll have somebody stop you. That's immigration. They'll ask, where you going? Where's your visa? Oh, I don't have one. I'm going to San Felipe for a couple days. 2 things have happened with different people. 1, okay, go. Second, you need a tourist visa. It's $22 or whatever. Go pay and come back. It depends on what the guy decides he wants, or the gal decide they want to do when you come through.
Okay,
Okay, so again, I don't expect any change in that because it's the same people working for the federal government, not for the state, not for the city that do that.
Okay, next question is, if we instate the absentee ballot, which it sounds like we're going to do that, does that absentee ballot count toward the quorum?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I have a quick question.
If you have... One-on-one, sorry.
I've lived here for 12 years. My name is Penny Nass, and I want to put a challenge, and I always think from a very positive side, and I think that that's really important. And what I would like to do, first of all, is thank, and I'm sorry people aren't here to hear this because I seem to be the mouthpiece for this. Thank you for everything that you have done for this ranch. And this is really important that we thank you. You guys, glad you got a raise. You deserve it. Part of the problem, I think, with what's going on is lack of interest. We have lost, I'm one of the only people in my very large community that comes to these meetings. So my challenge to you, we need to get those people back to these meetings. And the reason why we need to do that is because they're the very people that confuse every issue because they don't know the facts. So my challenge is really important here. It really is. We need to get those people who have said, I have heard this a million times. When I first started here, this is how I felt these meetings went. Yada, 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 yada. And that's really true. Now, I can look at pictures. I can see the results. People say all the time, where does the HOA money go? So we need, the problem is, when you have people that are tired of listening, and I get that. I mean, I sat here all these hours to these meetings, which are very long, and maybe they can be shortened, because we lost a lot of our crowd who really should have heard my message. I'm sorry, I'm always compelled to do this. This is a great place, and we need to keep thanking the people who struggle to make this right. I never got answers years ago. Now I'm getting answers. I'm getting answers now. I'm getting transparency now. Never had this in the past. So frustrating. Most people now said that. It's never, finances, never going to happen. This isn't going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're the problem. Because when their mouths speak at the pool or playing tennis, they also are controlling other people's decision-making, which is really terrible. It is. So, how do we fix this? You need to go back to your communities and say, you know what? I'm not going to tell you about the meeting. You need to go for yourself and see what is going on. Thank you for listening to me. Like I said, I always want to speak in a positive way, because I believe that we are on the right track with us and that we can expect transparency and wonderful things happening. Thank you very much for listening to me. Please get more people to these meetings. It's essential. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Penny. Okay. I want to say thank you to our clerks, Gardenia, and Mr. Leaños. Thank you very much for your help. We appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Marching over here.
I just wanted to have a correction on the vote.
Yes, sir.
Since I am paying 2 HOA fees for one lot, yes, I would like to get credit two no's.
Yes.
And it's only based on the new payment plan. The raises, the raises for staff, everything else, you guys, and I agree, you guys are doing a good job. You supervisors, what I've seen at the pool, I mean, you and I have had a conversation in the past, I'm sure you don't remember. I was really impressed with what you're doing there. I'm a water company guy. I'm retired from East Bay Bud in Oakland, California. Really good stuff you guys are doing. I just have this little issue about the 2 HOA fees, which you guys have control over. I pay 2 taxes on 2 lots. I get that. That's money now. But the HOA fees and the extra 5%, when I've paid diligently for over 10 years, kind of bugs me. It really does.
Okay, we will talk with you after we close the meeting.
If you have a permanent residency, you have to, you don't have to get a visa, right?
Yes, you don't need it. Okay,
Hello, I have one more question. So what do I do? Throw away? Hello?
they want to, let's collect the ballots, please. There are several around, so we will collect them.
May I ask my question, please? Just very curious regarding the homeowners or the property owners who have paid their dues versus those who have not. Has anyone broken down the distribution based on homeowners, people who've actually built homes versus those who effectively own dirt? To see whether there's a discrepancy between payers and non-payers?
We have all the different people who pays, if they have a house, if they don't have a house, if they have a trailer. We have all that in the guy who controls that, who knows all about that is Ricardo Montaño, who is in the TRC head. So we know exactly which lot is constructed, which lot is not constructed, and we know who is paying and who is not paying. If that was a
I'd like to make
question.
a suggestion that for the next year's presentation, that information be included, because I would think that everyone that has a home built or a trailer on property would be amongst the payers, and that those people perhaps need to be pursued a little more than those who own dirt and probably spend little or no time here and haven't been given an opportunity to see the value in paying homeowners or HOA dues when they're not deriving any benefit from their ownership.
Well, let me tell you that, for example, the people who does live here, they have the same benefits. The thing is that they are not living here, they are not using it. But legally, they have the same benefits. It's their choice of the people to come and live in the ranch or not. So when you agree to buy, you abide to the regulations and rules. So it's a decision of the people itself to come out. But you have the same rights as anybody else. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you give the activities guy an 8% raise. How much money is that actually? 8% raise. How much money is that?
Let me tell you that it's
80 cents? You guys should be embarrassed to give somebody an 80-cent raise.
Yeah, it's very few. I agree with you.
You should be embarrassed. All the work they do, they work many hours more than they don't get paid for. You should pay by the hour instead of by the salary.
We cannot do that because of the income we have. I would love to pay them a lot more.
Yeah, I think they should be paid by the hour, not by the salary.
We are not yet there, but we would like to go there. I can tell you that.
How much money is it?
The raise. Aló, ¿te acuerdas cuánto se le aumentó a actividades de salario en pesos? Era el 8%, pero... It's like 20 pesos a day. So that's 600 pesos a month, which is like $30 more. It's 8%. Yeah, for example, cars. Well, we do, but we cannot get more now. I would like to give them them 1,000 pesos a day, but I can't.
That's next to
That's why we are invading all the base to pay the dues. Because if everybody pays the dues, we can raise it.
Administrators make from this contract 40,000?
Which administrators? The what?
Administrators to the contractor, how much do they make?
That's a contract that is 15%.
Why do they make 15%?
Because that was a contract that was
Paid
on.
by the hour, they get paid by the,
That was an agreement.
can't change agreements, I guess.
It's the administrative company gets 15%. That includes all of the services that they provide to the HOA. It's like, it's Bama's Park, we pay 15% to associate. It's the same thing, that's the 15%. So it includes all the paperwork, all the other stuff. Yes.
Let me tell you that we have been giving raises since 2014 ininterruptedly. We have been giving around more or less 30% in raises that in the past were not done. So we are working on that, and we will keep working on that. Yeah. Every guy, you talk with the guys, they can tell you if they are happy or unhappy with the team. Needs, we all have needs.
So I just want to make a comment on the administrative, the camp payments. You know, as Denise said, it's to the company. They provide a lot of things besides his salary, but they provide a lot of paperwork, a lot of processing. Every HOA that I've been involved with up in the States, there's always a management company that does it. It's not the owners. And you pay the management company typically around 15% to manage the HOA. That's just kind of standard. I mean, there are exceptions, of course, but that's kind of standard. One of the things that we've been able to do with the CAM company, which is the developer, owns CAM, is that they only charge the 15% on dues. So if we had a special assessment, legally, they're supposed to get 15% of that. They don't. They don't take that money. Right? They only take it on dues. Which, you know, gives us some relief if we have to do a special assessment on things. The other thing is we have CAM debt that when I started in 2015, it was about $520,000. We're getting that CAM debt down with the possibility of new owners coming in here, because when we pack its investments, it's probably going to buy the company out. There'll be new owners. We have an agreement already set in place with CAM, because the owners will inherit CAM as well. With CAM, it says that the debt, which right now is down to about, I think it's $180,000, we're getting it paid off, is not collectible in one lump sum. So we're protected. They're protecting us for CAM. And again, it's a standard thing that happens with every HOA I've ever been associated with. You got to pay a management company to do this. And it's, well, no, we're held hostages by needing a management company to run.
Who is CAM?
CAM is the management company. That's the management. I forget what CAM stands for, but that is. Yeah, whatever. Right. So that's the management company that manages the HOA.
Who owns CAM?
Butler.
It's in our rules and regulations that they get 15% of the employee.
Because that's the standard. That's when.
It's open can of worms, so I can't close them.
Okay, because if you go ask any HOA in the U.S., 15%. That's what they pay the management fee. Huh? Because when it got set up years ago, that's fine, but we can't change it. And if we get somebody else, it's going to be 15% to somebody else. Okay, but it's going to be 15% to the new owners.
5 years ago, 3 other people and I approached and talked to other HOA management companies. Okay? Everything that they came to offer was a la carte. We'll do this for this. Now, if you add that to, when we got through adding what we already had, it was about 30% more than we're paying now. The largest HOA management company is out of Dallas, Texas, and I know them very well because I had many, many meetings with them. Plus, it's in our rules and regulations that we didn't write, and I can't say I like all of them perfectly, but we don't get a choice because those are the papers that got this HOA set up, and those are the rules we must live by.
And Richard Spanos did the same thing until they were totally sold out.
He was a crook too.
I'm not
So, I mean, it is
to
what
go
it is.
there, but it's standard practice.
Okay, well, if there's no more questions, yes, Martha.
I'd like to move that the meeting be closed.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much for being here. See you on February. Thank you, Ed.